Chinese President Xi Jinping held phone talks with US President-elect Donald Trump on Friday. The Chinese state media said the phone call happened in the evening. It did not provide any immediate further details. The Chinese state media added that Xi Jinping told Donald Trump that he hopes for a good start to ties between the two countries in his new term. Donald Trump took to his social media platform to share details of the telephonic conversation. Trump said the call was a very good one for both China and the USA. We discussed balancing trade, fentanyl, TikTok, and many other subjects. Trump added that it is my expectation that we will solve many problems together and starting immediately. Trump also vowed that he and Chinese President Xi Jinping would build a strong relationship after their phone conversation. Trump concluded saying that President Xi Jinping and I will do everything possible to make the world more peaceful and safe. Now, early in the day, China announced that Xi Jinping will send Vice President Han Zheng for Trump's presidential inauguration next week. In his first term, Trump has waged a bitter trade war with China, slapping tariffs on imports from the world's second-largest economy. He has threatened to impose more severe measures this time, accusing Beijing of unfair trade practices and contributing to a devastating fentanyl crisis in the United States. On Thursday, Beijing slammed comments by Marco Rubio, Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, as unwarranted attacks. This was at the confirmation hearing. Rubio called China the most dangerous, near-peer adversary the US has ever faced. Reacting to the comments, Chinese Foreign Ministry said that the US must establish a correct understanding of China and cease unwarranted attacks and smear campaigns against it. In December, Xi Jinping said that China was willing to engage in dialogue and expand cooperation with the US, but warned that a trade war would have no winners. Joining us live from New York on the broadcast now is our correspondent Susan Tehrani. Susan, the first phone call between the two leaders since Trump's first presidency, just on the heels of Trump's inauguration as the President of the United States. Of course, two of the world's largest economies, also economic rivals. Xi Jinping, in fact, had also congratulated Donald Trump upon his re-election. While we also see a war of words between the two, Trump accusing China of various things, especially as regards trade. What message does this phone call really give out? What kind of China policy can we expect from the US under Donald Trump?
Right. As you mentioned, this was the first phone call since President-elect Donald Trump won the presidency and since his first term as president. There's a lot to discuss. Many believe that the United States, despite, conversations like this, will have a more confrontational approach towards China, notably when it comes to the issue at the southern border, drug trafficking. You mentioned fentanyl that they discussed. The precursors come from China. And despite the fact that the Chinese Communist Party has time and again said that they would address it, they have not. That's going to be an issue. Of course, the issue of trade. Trump's trade policies during his first term were popular here in the United States to the extent that the Biden administration's policies on trade with China was somewhat a continuation of what Trump was doing. I think it'll be interesting because America's foreign policy apparatus under President-elect Donald Trump seems to be peace through strength. So it'll be interesting to see how President Trump will want to, harness these soft power issues, which is like an issue like TikTok, with hard power issues like safety and security in the Indo-Pacific region, and then the issue of Taiwan as well. Taiwan is a very pressing issue for China. We'll have to wait and see whether or not Donald Trump really wants to get involved in that fight, since we know that his foreign policy is going to be perhaps a little more isolationist than President Biden. In his administration, what we can tell is there are a lot of China hawks. So, let's watch and see how this is going to go.
On the broadcast.